Hey, everybody. It is time. It's time for our regular Tuesday live, and I am so pumped to hang out with you. Today, we're going to be talking about. Wait, where'd it go? Had it up here. We're going to be talking about how to recession proof your business. In fact, 3 ways to recession proof your business. And this is one of those topics that, man, we're all thinking about it, right? We are all, it's kind of looming in the back of our mind like, man, the economy is just crazy. Inflation is up. People are, jobs and job security is going down in a lot of ways. And we all have this on our mind of, man, how do I secure not only my personal finances, but my business finances? How do I make sure that I'm running in a way that is prepared if recession is on the rise, And so no matter what your opinion is on it, we are going to dive into just from a business perspective, what should you be doing with the talk of a looming recession, right? So let's go ahead and we're going to dive into that. But first, I always have a couple of quick announcements. So number one, I would love, this is like totally off topic, but I would love to hear, because it's almost Christmas time. I know our family has a couple of traditions that have just kind of randomly formed over the last few years. We're like, oh, we've done this 2 or 3 years now. I guess it's a tradition. I'd love to know if you have like a special family tradition that you do. I'd love to know what it is. So if you put that in the comments, that would make just me personally happy, because I think my kids are still young enough that I'm like, oh, we still have time to like tack on more traditions, and I just kind of love them. So let me know in the comments what a favorite holiday Christmas tradition is for you and your family. All right. And then we have some announcements as well. I'm going to be announcing the winner of our Ultimate Virtual Assistants giveaway. So, who entered? Yes, everybody. Now we had thousands of people enter, but only one winner. And so, just a reminder: the winner is winning access to the Savvy system, access to Savvy Vault, lifetime access to both of those, a gift certificate to our merch store so they can buy some awesome merch. If you guys all checked out the merch store, it's amazing. All the proceeds go to build wells in Africa through Convoy of Hope. But we are giving away some merchandise over there for this giveaway, as well as a Starbucks gift card. So lots of goodies for the winner of this giveaway. If you didn't win, don't worry. I've got something free coming up for you as well too. So let's go ahead and announce the winner. Yes, I need everyone just do like a drum roll. Yeah. Okay. So the winner of the VA Epic giveaway is Kelsey Weingart. Yes, Kelsey, congratulations. She is the owner of Lark Resources, I believe. And so we are going to be sending you an email, Kelsey. So congratulations to you, our winner. And for anybody who, man, I was really, really hoping, especially I wanted to get my hands on that Savvy system. Well, don't worry, the Savvy system, we are launching again in January. So your time is coming to be able to join our signature program. And we do actually have a free 3-day challenge that we're going to go ahead and we're telling everybody about now, because if you're wanting to replace your income in 2023, oh my gosh, it's going to take me a while to get used to that. If you're wanting to replace your income in 2023, you're wanting to start your business and just get that momentum going in the very beginning of the year, we do have a 3-day challenge that is coming up. It's the Virtual Assistant Startup Challenge, and you can go to that and register. That is a free challenge that we're doing in the beginning of January, that you can launch your virtual assistant business with us. And we're going to be sharing with you the tips and tools that over 5,000 of our students have taken in order to replace their income with virtual assistants. So everyone's a winner. You can all join the challenge. And yeah, here's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about how to recession proof your business, because the reality is we all need a little bit of security right now. And so I'm going to be sharing with you some things that we're personally doing and the advice that I'm giving to other people after studying. I really did a deep dive into this, and what are in the last recession, right? 2008, what were the things that small business owners did that helped them get through, right? And what are some preemptive steps that we can be taking as business owners during the season? Now, I will say we are a service based industry. Like virtual assistants is, in my opinion, not going to be hit as hard as some other businesses. Yes, hiring may slow down, but what I have found is that a lot of times people are unfortunately letting go of more employees and moving towards contractors, and so that is something that could be happening, like kind of forecasting. In addition, lots of people do start side hustles during a recession as well. And so this idea of like there is still going to be help that's needed. I think that a service-based industry, it's not necessarily a luxury business, right? Like we're not selling like high-end baby toys or like we're selling like an actual service, like an exchange of my time for these services. So I do think we're going to talk about ways to recession proof your business. We're going to talk about ways that you can move with the best foot forward during this time and how we can go ahead and prep ourselves. But just know my personal opinion is that will we see an impact on this in virtual assistants? Yes. But will it be like absolutely detrimental to our industry? No, I truly don't believe that. In fact, during the last recession, it was, small and medium sized businesses. A lot of them, if they were more service based, and again, it's kind of like what's the hierarchy of needs, and this isn't like a luxury thing. It's actually for a lot of business owners, the lifeblood of what makes their business continue to run is being able to have assistance. So I personally don't think we'll have a drastic decline, but I think it's just smart to prepare ourselves, right? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comments as well. Um, all right. So let's I wanted to go and look and see if any of you guys had good traditions before I jumped in. Oh, we go caroling to our friends. We always go caroling to our neighbors. So we like make cookies and then we go and we carol to just like around our neighborhood. That's really fun. Watch Die Hard 1 and 2. Oh, we should totally do that. I love that, decorating the tree. We still haven't decorated our tree. I have this whole saga. We bought my daughter a dollhouse for her dolls. This was like a while ago. Like her American Girl dolls are not, like the fake American Girl dolls. I'm like, here's your Target American Girl doll. We bought her this dollhouse. I was like looking for how to make a dollhouse for like that size of dolls, which are massive dollhouses, right? And so I was looking for like how to make one, and then one popped up on Marketplace for like, oh my gosh, less than like the wood, or like I was looking at like how to turn a TV center into one. And this one popped up and I was like, yes, 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 because it like included furniture and all this stuff. So we bought my daughter this dollhouse and it is legit 6 feet tall, you guys, like insane. And I'm like, I want to find the picture. It is legit 6 feet tall. Look at this thing. I don't know if you guys can see can you see that? It won't fit in her room. Like I measured it would fit in this space, but we can't actually get it through the doorway. So now that massive dollhouse is sitting in the spot where our Christmas tree always is. All that to say, we haven't put up our tree yet. And I'm really, really wanting to because it is time. I'm like, we're gonna have our tree up for like 5 days. Anyways, okay, let's go ahead and jump into these tips for how to recession proof your business. And how are we gonna do it? We're going to do it by being savvy, right? So the first thing that I would recommend is to be money savvy during this time. So what does that look like? The number one thing, and I give this advice to anyone starting a business, this is advice that I give to people personally as well, is to start creating an emergency fund. There is, especially if you're going into uncertain times, right? I give this advice, and I've been giving this advice for the past 8 years that I've been teaching, is that if you are going to start a business, especially if you're leaving a 9 to 5 to start a full-time virtual assistant business, what do you want? You want that sense of security. What do we want during a recession? That sense of security. So the reality is, at any point in your business, during a recession, during a looming recession, or when times are good, right? There's always the chance that a client won't need your services anymore. And so if you're relying on monthly reoccurring income, then knowing, okay, I have 4 clients, they each pay me $1,000 a month, right? We'll make this simple. If I lose one, I'm down to $3,000 a month, right? And so I would always recommend having 4 months, four is like my sweet spot. People say between 3 and 6 months. Three just doesn't feel safe enough for me. Six seems like way too much money in the bank. Like I'd rather be putting that into other things. And so 4 months expenses is like the sweet spot for me personally of having in the bank. So what does that mean? That means how much does it cost to run your business and pay yourself? That is the number that you need in the bank. So it doesn't have to be 4 months of total revenue, right? But 4 months of what it would cost to keep running your business and to keep paying yourself. I like having that in the bank so that I know, hey, if worst came to worst and something crazy happened, recession or not, we're just talking even like anything that could happen, right? It's just nice to have that as that security and that safety in the background. And I think that if we're talking about potentially going into a recession period, that's going to be something that's really important is that you start stockpiling. Now, what does that mean? It means that you need to be financially savvy in the way that like go ahead and look at your expenses, and I'm talking personal and business here, right? Like we don't talk a whole lot about personal finances. Maybe we will in 2023. Maybe we'll do like a personal finances feature. But I know for our family we're looking at this time and we're saying, okay, personally, where can we cut back, right? What are ways that we can reduce our personal expenses right now, just so if inflation keeps going up and things keep going crazy, right? That we've already prepared in that way. So, how can I do that personally? If you do that personally, you may find, if you were paying yourself $3,000 a month, okay, you might find, oh, well, we actually only need $2,500 a month, right? So that means less expenses that you need on the business side to be paying yourself. That's a smaller emergency fund. And if you can start paying yourself just a little less, right? Oh, I've never said the words pay yourself less, but you're still paying yourself. If you're not needing to pay yourself as much to pay for your monthly bills, you can take that extra 500 and start chucking that away in emergency fund, right? So that's what I'm talking about here. It's just about, looking at your finances, personal and business, right? And going through and saying, where can I cut? What things am I not actively using right now? There might be things that you're paying for that you're like, we don't actually use this very often. And so I'm going to go ahead and cut it from my operating expenses. Another thing that you can do to be financially savvy, if you have contractors, is taking a look at your contractors and seeing, okay, am I fully utilizing this contractor, right? I'm paying this contractor for 10 hours a week, and like check in, are they actually doing that? Have you on average only been using 5 hours a week? See if you could possibly reduce a package. So it doesn't always have to be that you're cutting something from your expenses. Maybe you could just reduce it from your expenses. And that goes for personal and for business, right? If I go and get I don't know, well, I was thinking like a massage, like if you get regular massages, then man, that's nice. But I'm trying to think of something that's like a normal monthly reoccurring thing that you might do that's fun. Like if you're getting coffee, 3 times a week and you go and you get a special coffee, like maybe I'll get a coffee 2 times a week, right? So it doesn't have to be that you're completely cutting something out, but maybe you're just reducing it in a way because we know this is kind of that like buckle down the hatch type of season. It's just where we're at right now, right? So I'd love for other ideas. Like, what are other ways that you guys are trying to be money savvy inside of your business as we prepare for a potential recession, right? So that's cutting operating expenses for your personal, it's cutting operating expenses for your business, and it is creating that business emergency fund. Yes. How many of you guys have one? Do you have a business emergency fund already? I'd love to hear in the comments. All right, let's go ahead and move forward because there's another way that I believe that we can prepare in these signs of an economic downturn. It's time to step back, reassess what we're doing, and think about ways to become recession proof. So one is to be money savvy. The next is to be service savvy. All right. So what does that mean? What I don't want you doing. So what people can tend to do, and again, I did a ton of research on this. What people can tend to do in a recession or upon a looming recession is think, okay, I got to start something new. I got to start something new. I got to start something new, which isn't a bad thing. It's not bad to have diversification of income, but if you have your services, right? you have the services that you're offering. I think a lot of times people will say, okay, what can I do to like maybe create something that's cheaper, right? Which isn't a bad thing. So if you have your monthly services and maybe you are like, people are asking for, I have a 20, a 40, and a 60-hour per month package, and people are asking for a 10-hour per month package, might not be a bad idea to consider that. What I don't think now is the time to do is to like get distracted by little things that are going to take a lot of your time. Okay, so let me explain. And again, this is your business. You get to choose what you're going to do. But this, in my opinion, if you have monthly reoccurring services that I have virtual assistant services, or I have, I have this Pinterest agency that I'm building, whatever it may be. In my opinion, this is not the time to start creating like a $7 ebook. It's not the time to start creating a ton of like little physical products, right? Like little one time small purchase things that are going to take a lot of your time and not really make that big of a financial impact, right? Your time is valuable and you should be turning your time into more money. So what does that look like? So again, that's different than maybe adding on just, hey, these are the services I already do. Let me just create maybe a little bit of a smaller package, just being sensitive to the economic times, right? People might be cutting their expenses instead of saying, hey, I'm just kind of cut this entirely. It might be good to have a backup. Hey, we did just introduce a smaller plan, right? So that I think is a totally great way to be service savvy. What I don't want you doing is just going out and being like, okay, now I'm gonna also do t-shirts and sell an ebook and try to, like do these, like I'm gonna create this course. I'm gonna spend 20 hours creating a course. Like, in my opinion, it's time to double down on the things that are already working, right? And so that would be my suggestion. Yes, creating a smaller version maybe of what you already have, but not creating something totally new, especially if it's going to be super low dollar and not reoccurring. So just my opinion. The other thing that I would say as far as being service savvy is this is a great time to actually start thinking about a more niched or premium service. I don't believe that it's not a great idea to just completely throw away what you've already have, right? So like if you're doing, let's say you're doing general admin as your services, like that's awesome. Keep doing that, but potentially add on a higher tier program, okay? Because the reality is people are still spending money. And so if somebody is interested in a more niche down service, then you can become the go-to person for that. So let's say you have general admin and you're like, man, I've been learning how to build Squarespace websites. Well, there's nothing wrong with, in fact, I would highly encourage you to say, I'm going to keep my general admin services, but I'm also going to add, if you're going to add something, let's not add like $7 ebooks. Let's add like a $3,000, $4,000 Squarespace website building package, right? Because even though less people might be buying them because of recession, like if someone does buy them, it's a higher dollar amount, right? So I do believe that this is the time to learn a higher end skill that is still going to be necessary during this time. People are still going to need websites. People are still going to need parts of their business managed, but not negating, like, don't completely just trash your current services to move to that new service until you've really proven the concept. So, okay, now I have enough people asking for websites, like my calendar is full. Now I can get rid of my general admin. Does that make sense? And again, we'll do a little Q&A time at the end of this. If you have questions about like, how do I do that? Or what does this look like? Or Abby, here's my specific circumstance. Like, I'm totally happy to answer those questions. I think that this is also a really good time to standardize and optimize your current offer, right? So again, let's go back to that website. So let's say you sell a website for $3,000, right? And you know that it takes you 20 hours to do that website, right? Is there anything that you could systematize and optimize where instead of taking 20 hours, it would only take you 10 hours, right? Is there a software you could invest in? Is there a contractor you could invest in? Something or someone that would actually reduce the time it would take you personally so that you could take on more projects. That is the kind of thinking in this recession time that we can be doing, is thinking about like, okay, how could I standardize and clean up my internal systems so that it's more streamlined, so it takes less time. And this can be like for your for your service. How do I streamline my operations for my service? It also could be for your marketing, right? Like again, if you're all over the place trying a bunch of different things, it's just more time, and time, especially in a recession, is money. So how do I reduce the time and only do what is essential, right? Only do the things that are working, double down on the things that are working. So that might be, man, I've been kind of trying all these different like types of marketing, but at the end of the day, all my clients came from networking events. Okay, double down on networking events and stop with the other stuff, right? Like double down and do more of what's working. And this, more than any other time, is the time to be doing that. Okay. So you want to be service savvy. You want to standardize and optimize your current offer so you can make more in less time. Don't get distracted with all the other little things. Double down on what's working, potentially make a smaller version of the package you already have, right? Like we're not reinventing something new. We're not messing around with spending tons of times doing little tiny things. If you're going to introduce something new, I would introduce a higher, more niched package, right? And if you are like, hey, I'm a general VA and I don't know what my higher end niche package would be, I would go to the virtualsavvy.com/quiz because we actually help you niche down if that's something you're interested in doing through this quiz and finding out, man, am I more of the expert? Am I more of the creative? Am I the visionary, right? Like what type of services should I be niching down to if it is time to niche? So go to that quiz if that's something you're interested in. Okay. And then I have one more, 3 ways to be recession proofing your business. The first was to be money savvy. The second was to be service savvy. And I'm going to announce the next in a second. I want to check the comments and I'm glad I did. I absolutely love this. I need this confirmation. I'm planning on adding a $2,500 email refresh VIP day. Yes, I love that. That makes me so happy because here's the thing is that it's there, right? Like you're not discontinuing, you're not throwing away everything else, but just by creating this higher end package, if somebody does take you up on that, bam, you have gotten an immense amount of value. You've got an immense amount of cash, right? For something that you can do in a day. I think this is a great time to be introducing a higher end package, a niche package, or a VIP experience of something that you already have, right? And again, we want that ladder to be going up and not down, especially during a recession. Okay, good. Let's keep going. So, we want to be money savvy, we want to be service savvy, and the last is during this time, we want to be people savvy. Okay. So many reasons to do this. Number one, like look around, you guys, and this is just more of a general thing. Like, look around. People are hurting right now, and I know a lot of you guys, honestly, are hurting. Just with uncertainty, with the economy, with just I think we're still all in whiplash of 2020, you know? My friend Kate All the other day had something on her Facebook, and I'm totally gonna butcher this, but something on her like a Facebook story of, no one's done this before. No one has ever like ran a business through a pandemic followed by a recession. Like this hasn't happened, you know? And so just know that we're facing some really hard times right now, and it's okay to be human in the midst of all of this. And so if that's you and you're hurting, like reach out to a friend, like reach out. Sometimes even like not like I'm always telling you, get business friends, like just anyone, right? Anyone that's going to be able just to like kind of feed your soul for a little bit. I think that like this is just a good time to be doing that. In the same way, it's a great time to be refreshing other people. If you're like, I'm feeling good, or, I do believe in the principle that, he who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Like, I truly believe that. So sometimes if you are feeling bogged down, one of the best things you can do is to actually bless another person or to encourage another person, right? And so in this season, look for ways that you can just be reaching out. And here's the thing, it's also good business. Like good business is just keeping touch with people, being in relationship with people. So this is a great time to, and this could be like a one-time project that you do or something that I'm all about systematizing. I'll be really honest. I am not always the best at this. Like I'm really bad at responding to text messages. I'm not the best at like reaching out to friends and things. Like I've just being a mom, running business, like, this is something I honestly struggle with. And so I have to find ways to systematize it. I have to say, okay, me and this friend, we are getting coffee once a month and we schedule it in there. Or I can like have a reoccurring I literally have a reoccurring task in my ClickUp to answer my text messages because I will forget to do it. So like, trust me, I'm on the struggle bus with this one, but like, so sometimes systematizing your relationships, you got to do what you got to do, right? But like, making a point just to reach out to people. So this is a great thing that you can be doing with current and previous clients too. Just being like, just checking in. How you doing, right? Or maybe people that were leads in the past, and then they said, "Hey, this isn't good timing." This is a really great time, even if it's a one-time initiative that you do every 3 months or 6 months. Hey, just checking in. How's life? How's business? Things are crazy right now. A lot of businesses are hurting. A lot of they're just uncertainty in the economy. I was kind of just checking to see how you're doing, that human element. One, it's just a good thing to do as a person. Number two, it's really good for business as well because business is all about relationships. And I do think that especially as we go into a potential recession, right? Or some of you guys are like, no, we're already here. However you want to call it, building up that network, that referral network, is just a human like touch point thing. And so your leads will likely come not from just throwing stuff out on social media, not from, just posting things on Facebook or posting things on Instagram. Your leads are likely going to come from connection. So, what are you doing to connect with people? Because that's important now more than ever. I also think that if you haven't already created some kind of a referral incentive inside of your business, this is a great time to be doing it. Again, another early beginning of the year project. If somebody refers business to you, do you do something for them? Right. So I love it if it's like, anybody who sends me business and we end up signing that person on as a monthly reoccurring contractor or on a monthly reoccurring contract, or maybe you do a one-time package, that you give them some kind of a kickback, right? And I think that a financial kickback right now more than ever is awesome. So it doesn't always have to be a financial kickback, but I think, if people are looking for more ways to be making money, well, hey, I know that if I send someone to I know if I send someone to Sarah and Sarah's doing a website package for $3,000 and she's going to give me $200, like, yeah, I'm going to send them to you. It's going to be top of mind more than ever, right? So I do think that coming up with some kind of a referral incentive, again, it mixes that people element with kind of that service savvy part of it, of let's incentivize people for telling other people about our business. So a referral incentive is a really great way to introduce that. Another thing is that, being in touch with one another. I hope that you guys are meeting with one another. I hope that you guys, in fact, something we're really excited about, we don't have all the details fleshed out, but starting in 2023, we really want to dig into doing more like meetups, getting you guys to meet one another, right? And some of you guys have been, if I've gone to a new city, I'm saying, hey, we're all going to get coffee, and nothing super formal, but we're just meeting with one another and connecting you guys to one another. I think that that's a really awesome thing to be doing. But it's also, again, another business smart decision because you guys can be referral partners to one another, right? So you could do the whole like, hey, I'll send you leads, you send me leads. It could be, complementary services. So you do web design, find a really awesome copywriter, right? Like when I do websites, I send them to you to do the copy. Or maybe if you're doing copy, but you notice, hey, their website really needs redesigned, you're sending them to me, right? And so building up your referral network from one another is really important too. So relationships. If you're going to be doubling down on something, again, it would be relationships. Not that like I'm just going to blast it out there. I'm not going to post to Instagram 2 times instead of 1 time a day. No, I would spend that extra time connecting with people, right? And it doesn't have to be in person. I think in person is awesome, but it can be, connecting with people via email and their DMs, video, a Loom message that you email to them. There's a lot of different ways to connect virtually if you can't get out of the house physically, but man, there's something to be said about getting out of the house physically and just meeting one on one with people as well. So I would definitely double down on relationships, double down on being people savvy, creating a referral incentive, and then just don't forget to keep marketing, even if you have a full client base. Like that's my last little piece of advice before we go into a Q&A time is that and for me, keep marketing means keep building those relationships. Yes, you could have a wait list, or yes, you could hire a subcontractor to help with some of the work if you get more work beyond what you can physically handle. But even if you see yourself like slowing down on how many hours you can actually, you're like, ooh, I'm at 15 hours and my max is 20. I need to start slowing down my marketing. Not necessarily. I would not necessarily recommend slowing down your marketing, slowing down your relationship building. I would keep it up and then start to look for more creative ways of, could it be a wait list? Could it be a one time done in a day, like a VIP day? Could it be that I hire a subcontractor and keep taking on more clients even when I can't physically do the work myself? So just don't slow down on your marketing during this season as well. Okay. That's all I have for you. Let's go into a little bit of a Q&A time. What questions do you have for me? Or, out of these 3 tips about being a recession-proof business, learning to be money savvy, learning to be service savvy, learning to be people savvy, is there anything that you're like, hey, here's something I'm doing in my business that might be helpful? Again, we're here to learn from one another. So if there's something that you are proactively doing, if you've started that emergency fund, or if you found a really cool way to introduce a new service, like go ahead and post that in the comments as well. So what questions do you guys have? I am here to answer them for you. I love doing Q&A with this team. As you're dropping those questions, don't forget, we do have that new challenge coming up in the new year. You can go to the virtualsavvy.com/challenge. It's a 3-day free challenge to start up your business. If you are looking to grow your revenue in 2023, this is going to be an awesome place to start. We're going to be talking about bare bones, how do you get started, but we're going to really dive into some marketing principles, really dive into, do I have the skills? Do I have what it takes? How to use the skills you already have to start your business or to grow your business. So make sure you sign up if you haven't already. Awesome. Let's go do a little bit of a Q&A time. What do we got, guys? Um, oh, this is awesome. A bunch of you guys talking about the quiz. The quiz was spot on, exactly what I love to do. Yay. Oh, we love the quiz. It is a really, really great way to identify what your high-end service should be. All right, Allison has a question. Do you have any resources for doing the back office work, like examples of systems for bookkeeping, follow-ups, etc.? I have some experience, but not sure what I'm missing in detail. Okay, so the back end of your business, there's a lot of different variables to it. So we'll start at the beginning. One is your onboarding process, right? And actually, let me pull up virtual. Okay, I have, and I will drop it here. Believe. So I was trying to pull it up. We have a blog all about how to onboard clients, and it's like our whole system for how you onboard a new client. It wasn't coming up. Okay, there it is. It's a virtual assistant's complete guide to onboarding clients. I'm going to throw it in the comments so you can see it right there. So that's one way, right? Is to come up with a really great onboarding client, an onboarding system. Here's the thing: when a client, if you say, when a client says yes, right? You are advertising your services. You are telling people you're having a discovery call. When a client says yes, I want to work with you, then what? You need to be able to answer that question, honestly, before you start doing discovery calls. So the blog that I just put in the comments is one way that you can go through and do that. And there's a lot of different tools. So, one that we really love is Dubsado. There's another one called Honeybook. That is a really great back end office tool. It's a way to keep track of your leads. It's a way to get contracts signed. It's a way to schedule, meetings. It involves some level of project management as well. There are other project management tools that we really love. I think a really good beginner one is just Trello. I would say Trello is like the most basic, then Asana, then ClickUp are like the three that people tend to go with as far as like just project management. The tasks that I'm doing for my clients let me keep track in a certain place. As far as bookkeeping, I know you mentioned bookkeeping. Again, since you can send invoices through HoneyBook and through Dubsado, it's a since you can send invoices through those programs, they kind of have their own little bookkeeping system. If you're just looking for a bookkeeping system, like if you're not wanting to go with one of those, there's also one called Wave Apps, WAVE. That is like an all-in-one bookkeeping system. And then, we're always big QuickBooks fans as well. QuickBooks is not fun, and if it's not something you don't want to do yourself, you will probably need a bookkeeper at the end of the year. But for me, I always just kept track of all my expenses in something like Wave Apps or Dubsado. And then at the end of the year, I would do my own taxes with QuickBooks. Now, once things got too complicated, I said, okay, I need an actual bookkeeper. I need an actual accountant. So if that's something you just feel really uncomfortable with, don't try to do it yourself, right? But if things are just still really simple, you're like, this is my only income, or I have a W 2 and I have this, and there's nothing else really complicated about my situation, you should be able just to keep track of a lot of your own business expenses. And then at the end of the year, I just would do like TurboTax, self-employed, and do my own taxes that way. Again, I always like, for me, getting a bookkeeper and an accountant were so worth the money because I did it like once or twice and then I was like, okay, this stresses me out. I don't want to do it anymore. So, yeah, I hope that that helps. I mean, there is so much to it, right? Like there is so much to like how do you keep reaching out to clients? How do you keep track of client work? How do you, develop a follow-up system afterwards? And those are all things that we teach in our all-inclusive course called the Savvy System that we're launching in January. It is that step-by-step everything in your back office on how to market, on how to do your systems and everything. So just keep that in the back of your mind too as you're developing this, is that might be a good option for you, Allison. Okay. Let's see. What do you need to have in place if you're working as a VA for another VA in an associate role? So if you're subcontracting, that's a really good question. So the very first thing that you need is an agreement. Okay, guys, always, whether you're a VA for a client or whether you are a VA for another VA, so you're subcontracting, always have a contract in place, okay? It is so important. It is so important to have a good contract. Like, I just can't stress it enough. Please don't just pull some random something off the internet. If you don't want to have one, we have one on our store, thevirtualsavvy.com/store. There's other good contracts out there too, but just have a good contract, because if stuff hits the fan, you're going to need that contract, right? And we pray that it never happens. We hope that it never happens, but if it does, it's always so good to have that contract in place. And then, you may not need as much of an onboarding system and all of that if you are just working for this other person, right? Generally speaking, if you're subcontracting, they're going to just kind of be, hey, all right, here's what you need to do. Here's what you need to do. So you don't need to have that as much, but I would also really challenge you to think about getting your own clients as well. A lot of people come to us and they're like, oh, I want to go work for this VA agency. And the reality is that a lot of like those big VA agencies, you guys know the ones I'm talking about, like the amount of money you're making for doing just as much work. I'm like, go get your own clients, like you do have what it takes. And it's like, what's stopping you? What's stopping you from going out and getting your own clients as well? So I think subcontracting is a good way to kind of get your feet wet, to kind of get the feel and be like, okay, I really can do this, but just don't limit yourself. Also, speaking of contracts, if you are deciding to do a subcontracting agreement with somebody, whether it's just an individual or whether it's one of these big companies, please look at what you're signing. I have seen people really get stuck in a situation because they will sign a non-compete without even realizing it. So make sure if you're going to work for another company that you are allowed to have your own clients, or if you quit, that you can pursue your own VA business, because some of those agencies are going to have you sign a non-compete saying that you can't go out and get your own clients. And if you sign it, you're legally bound to it, right? So like, just make sure you're really careful of what you're signing. Okay. Um, awesome. So good. Any advice for those who own a virtual assistant agency? Yeah. So, First of all, that's awesome. I love that you own your agency and that you're servicing a lot of different clients. A lot of the same things that we talked about here, I think would apply, especially looking at your operating expenses, right? Like really take a look at what you're spending in your business and double down on creating that emergency fund. Double down on cutting or trimming expenses as much as possible in the potential of a recession is a really, really great time to do that. All of the people management skills we talked about, all of the things that we talked about are still really, really relevant, whether you're an individual service provider or whether you are an agency, right? So I would definitely just take a look at the things that we already chatted about today. If you have a specific question about your agency, like let me know in the comments. Like, are you wanting to market it more? Are you wanting to get more clients? Were you talking about how to recession proof it? Let me know. Awesome. Let's see here. Ooh, I love this. I'm planning to offer the following: resume refresh, review for LinkedIn, basic Canva logo, generating labels for business. Awesome. Very cool. I have mine have their own clients, they just can't. Yeah, yeah, that's very standard. So, like, if you work for an agency that, like, you can go and get your own clients, but you can't take those clients, and work with them on your own, that is normal, that's okay. I think that that is a very good thing to have in your contract, so, awesome. Oh, yeah, and then Moni was, posting my video on systems. Yes, that's a really, really great resources. If you guys don't know, over on the YouTube channel, oh my gosh, we have so many resources. You guys could get lost over there, going through all the archives of all these live streams that I've been doing for how many years now? Probably at least 3 years. We've been going live every week. We normally post a weekly video as well, just like a standard YouTube video. So you can go back through our archives, and we have so many things on systems and backends and marketing, and there's just a lot of resources. So you can just go over to YouTube, search for the virtual savvy, and you will find all of those. All right, guys, that's all the time I have today. Thank you again, and I hope you have an awesome rest of the week. I'll be back next week for another live stream, and then I think we're taking the week of Christmas off. But yeah, I hope you all have an awesome rest of the day. Here's to an awesome 2023. Let's go.